Hello guys and welcome to College Cooking. Today we will be making a Spanish recipe called pisto, which consists of many vegetables. For this recipe I'm going to use a cucumber, I'm going to use some garlic, I'm going to use some red peppers, I'm going to use some onion, and I'm going to use some tomatoes. What I first do is usually slice the garlic and the onion, and I like to slice them very thin, as I believe this way it's easier to eat. But the good thing with this recipe is you can essentially do whatever you want. You can cut thinner pieces or you can cut bigger pieces. Again, I'm also going to chop the onion. And what I'm going to do is, of course, take the bottom and the top part off and get the skin away. Here you see me cut only half an onion. However, I ended up cutting all of the onion. Just like with the garlic, I'm gonna slice it very thin, because that's how I like it. But once again, you can do it as thick or as thin as you want. Now we're gonna get on with the peppers, and here's a tip: if you don't like the seeds of the pepper, you're gonna cut around the circumference of the top of the pepper, and you're gonna gently, with both hands, twist and pull a little bit so that the seeds go out of the pepper intact. Here you go, the seeds are out, and I'm also gonna cut this inside part. You can leave it if you want. I just do this way because that's how my mother taught me, and I guess that's how I like it. But once again, with this recipe you can do essentially as whatever you want. And voila, clean. Now we're gonna cut the cucumber. You can peel it or you can not peel it, that's however you want. I usually like to peel it because I don't like the texture of the skin. Okay, now in a deep pan we're gonna add some olive oil. It doesn't have to be extra virgin. And we're gonna add the onion and the garlic. This is so that the oil gets the taste of the onion and the garlic, and because they take longer to cook than the other vegetables. Once the onion starts sweating, that's when you're gonna add your peppers. You don't want the onions to be too brown because then they'll burn, especially if you slice them very thin. And then what you're gonna do is mix everything in the pan so that the flavors get to know each other. You're gonna let this sit for around 5 minutes before adding the cucumber. And at some point in there, you're gonna want to add salt. Once the cucumber is in the pan, you're just gonna let that sit for around 10 to 15 minutes, stirring occasionally, so that everything cooks correctly. Once everything grabs this color, you're gonna add some tomatoes. You can add natural tomatoes or store-bought tomato sauce. I usually use store-bought tomato sauce because that's what my mother used and that's how I like it. But there's no problem with using natural tomatoes. Just have in mind it'll take a little longer to cook, as they have to release the water. and grab the flavor of everything else in the pan. If you use store-bought tomato sauce, you're just gonna let it sit for like 3 minutes, maybe 2, so that everything warms up and the tomato grabs the flavor of every other ingredient. And again, after 3 or 4 minutes, a little more if you're using natural tomatoes, your pisto will be done. Look how good it looks. I recommend using some fried eggs and some bread to eat this. And there you go, you have a good enough meal for a few days if you do enough. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.